Okay, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Bill Satry back at you. And again, I have the man in St. George that is putting together the communities that are at value and a tremendous value of appreciating for people who have looked at the pre-owned houses, the existing homes, and you say to yourself, wow, for $300 a square foot, and I got to go and knock out a wall. I don't know. I want to look at building, but I just don't know how to get a builder together. So I'm going to introduce you to Jeff Staples, who seems to be the subject matter expert of the land around St. George. He was raised in the Virgin area, that valley. He knows every square mile, every road, every place you could take an ATV or a motorhome. You probably know that area better than anybody. Would that be correct?
That's kind of you and generous. I do know it pretty well.
But this man, if you're going to build somewhere, don't build what you find on a Google map. You better be building somewhere that makes sense. When you are home and looking out at your veranda, you want to be living somewhere that doesn't have a big wind problem, that doesn't have a big traffic problem. You're not listening to traffic or smelling horses and cows and flies. And there's all kinds of developments that butt up against things you don't even think about. Right. So Jeff is building a house. His group is building a house out at Rio de Sion, and that's a place where I own some property. So I'm watching this and sharing it with just a few, hopefully just a few people, that this doesn't go viral, because you're at probably 5 properties, and you've actually submitted this one to the city, and you're up and running. Is that correct? And can you tell us a little bit about this house that you're building?
We've got an awesome home going up. Bill, is it okay if I share my screen with you and I can kind of point people through?
Absolutely, I've got it on share.
Okay.
See if it'll share.
Okay, can you see what I'm seeing, Bill? Are you seeing my screen right now?
There we go. Absolutely, I see, yes.
Okay, so this here is our MLS listing of the property. We are on lot 63 up in Rio de Sion. This home is a custom home being built by Desert Willow Custom Homes. And the specs on it are as follows. We've got 5-bed, 2.5 bath, and it's a 4-car garage. The way that this comes up with 4, and I'll show you on the picture, is we've got a 2-car garage that is hidden right here. So you'd come in the driveway and boom, turn into a 2-car garage. That the front is kind of a facade, looks like home, and that's the garage. And then you've got your RV garage here. So 2 here, you could park 2 normal cars in here or a coach. So you could, sky's the limit on garage space. We are at 3,056 square feet, and the current list price, which we anticipate to stay the same, but we never know with materials. And that does change as contracts happen, and we'll go over that. But
I'm
right
gonna
now
guess this is like $1.2 million, $1.1 million. Gotta be, with a 4-car garage, not seen in St. George. Go look for a 4-car garage anywhere. You're not gonna find it. Go look for a 3,000 square foot house that's custom. Not gonna find it. So I'm gonna say $1.2 million.
Yeah, we're luckily we're quite a bit under that. We're at 975 right now, and the great thing is this is even on a fantastic lot. So not only do we have a sweet house being built, it's just I wish I had a floor plan here. Anyone that inquires, happy to go through that, but a wonderful layout, and the lot itself is awesome. This is one of the few in Rio de Sion that has 0 backyard neighbors. It backs up to a bluff, and then thanks to the offsets of homes across the street, you maintain wonderful views out the front.
And you are, I know this lot because it's a block away from my lot. You can walk out your front door and literally walk down to the river. I mean, all the roads aren't put in or the little pathways, but if you look at the lot, it's lot 60, what did you say it was? 60.
63 right here.
Okay, so you come out the front door at 63 and between either back of lot 66 or go down towards lot 41. I think you're somewhere there you can go over to the river and dip your toe in it. And I might be wrong on where you get in between 66 and 41, but seems to me that
So right,
between
here's your house here. You drive right down. This is paved, by the way, and actually later this afternoon, we will have the images up with the paved roads. It looks fantastic. So, I mean, this is, the subdivision's looking great, but right here is open space. It's river access.
So you bring your tube down, your floating tube down to that river. And in the summer, there is nothing better than float down that river, have somebody pick you up down in Virgin and take you home, I guess. But, or you could go to the other side of the subdivision where lot 47 and 8 is. There's an entrance there where those houses are and float around that horseshoe and actually come back there where your house is. Does that make sense? So being on the river or close to the river, I cannot think of any subdivision in the state of Utah that has, unless you're down at Sun River, way down toward the Arizona border, I can't think of anywhere that has access to that water. And as somebody that swam in the Virgin River in the summer, there is nothing finer. Now, everybody might laugh and say, why would you want to be in that river? It's just a river, but it's pretty cool when you have a 100-degree day or 110-degree day and being within a block or two of that river. I think that's a very nice asset.
It is. It's awesome. And this is obviously this is an aerial photo, so we got higher elevation than what the lot would have itself. That lot sits right about here, but you can see you've got off the back, you've got views of Zion right here. Great views of Zion out of your backyard. And then out of the front, this is the Kolob mountain range right here.
They're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous range. The picture doesn't do it justice. Those, you're looking at the Zion Park, you're looking at mountains, you're not looking at houses, you're not looking through houses. It's very important to understand that you're out, if the name of that town is anything true, you're really looking at virgin territory out there where you're not going to be crawling through people and cars and too much traffic out there in terms of where people, the density, how people live.
It's true. So this is kind of a good perspective from here, Bill. This is SR9. It takes you all the way up to Zion National Park. And you would just stay on this road. And to kind of show you the private secluded feel that you get with the subdivision is you take a right immediately right here by this big, beautiful Marriott. You drive right up this lane right here. And then we've got a wonderful bridge that suspends over the Virgin River. It's a beautiful bridge. And then this is your one and only subdivision on this side here.
And it's secluded. One way in, one way out. At least for now, I think that's the plan. And you just don't have the traffic. You have the serenity of nature. It's very nice out there. And I think at night, believe it or not, with that water, I've actually camped by the Virgin River, and it's a little cooler. You could actually get chilly down there at night. I don't know if you get chilly right there, but it does provide a little bit of air conditioning in that area at night, being close to the river. I don't know that far out, a couple blocks is going to make a big difference, but that elevation tends to cool off a bit.
Definitely.
You're 1,000 feet higher than St. George, if I remember right, being in Virgin.
I think that's right about that's about accurate, yeah.
And the road that takes off to the north goes up to Kolob Reservoir. That's a climb of 4,000 or 5,000 feet or more. And if you have a hot day and you want to cool off, you're probably 20, 25 minutes away from a 70-degree day
Correct.
in the summer. So you're right in a really central, nice location. And if you look up right now in St. George, I don't care what part of the year 2021 or 2022 you're looking at, but you go look up a $300 a square foot home, and you're going to see all pre-owned homes. And you're going to see homes that you're going to have to probably do something to. And you're not going to find one with a 4-car garage. Now, why is it important to have a 4-car garage, even though I have 2 cars? What's the trick that people don't think about once they move into that country?
Sure. Once you get out here and you see that there's, for lack of better terms, a safari of beauty all around you. There are not too many people that don't snag a Jeep really quick, or a side-by-side, an ATV, or a camp trailer, so that they can go enjoy some of these hidden gems, and that literally they can drive out of their driveway here and enjoy.
You could have a small trailer or a large trailer, or a lot of people there I've noticed have Class A motorhome. And they'll get in the Class A motorhome and they're 2 hours away from the rim of the Grand Canyon, or they'll go into Zion's Park and park in the campground there. There's just so much to do that you want your 2-up ATV. There's just a lot to do there that you can do through the national park and the other 4 or 5 parks that adjoin Zion. So that's why the big garage, you need a motorcycle, a ATV, you need a camper. And if you're outdoorsy, this is a great place. Much better than any of the places in St. George where you're exposed, you're at a lower elevation, and I don't know, it just seems like you're out in the heat more down there trying to get up here. So you're saving yourself an hour, 45 minutes of travel time by being here.
Right. And actually, one thing that's cool about this subdivision, I'd say you're probably at best 3 miles away from world-class mountain biking. So they actually do the Red Bull Rampage downhill mountain biking within 3 miles of here.
Oh, wow. That'll be cool. I'll have to try that. See how that goes. Let's talk about the build of the house. I've met with a lot of builders down in St. George, and now they've, instead of taking an interest in the customer, they've taken a position, which is, and this is, I couldn't believe this, but I get it from their point of view. They don't allow you to be involved in a build, pick out anything custom. Everything's already pre-planned, and they don't even want your money until that build is done and they have all their costs in. And when they see what the cost and the build and the colors are, they allow the customer to bid on that house. They might say it's $650, and the guy from wherever pays $740 for it because he really wants it. But you're not picking out anything other than maybe the color of the floor of the cement in the garage. It is completely out of the hands of the consumer. Now, what I understand, Jeff, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're offering a very rare opportunity right now, which is you're allowing the consumer to actually partner with you in this build job and pick out their colors. You're not allowing them to pick out walls and stuff, but I don't know. Tell me, can they pick out a kitchen? Could they be doing things along this build that would make that absolutely their home?
Correct. Yes. So to your point, what we've seen is a big shift with builders recently, and it comes down to lack of inventory of land that they need to keep doing business, and part of that is they're building homes and going and moving with the inventory they have. But what they've done is made it so, just like you said, instead of traditionally putting a contract on a build or going to a builder and contracting with them on land that they have, they're building it and then they're selling it the same as an existing home, where it's bring your highest and best offer, essentially a bidding war is taking place instead of here's the product you're going to get. You have some liberties here. So with us, yes, the answer is we can't change walls on this particular home. Where we are in the stages, it wouldn't permit it for us. The exterior has been chosen, and it's it's beautiful, it's unique, and it's very fitting to the subdivision. We have to pass that through an architectural control committee, and that is passed now as of today. And as far as the inside goes, absolutely. What we would do is, if somebody were to come to us in the very near future, you know, the longer you wait, the more selections we've made, the more orders we've made and can't reverse. At this point, someone could come in and virtually pick everything inside. Colors of cabinets, countertop material, flooring, fixtures,
Like
light fixtures, plumbing fixtures.
Light fixtures. If I wanted wolf ranges, I could put a barbecue in the back. All of these things they can pick. Now, if you hadn't planned for a wolf range and you have wolf products, obviously the price is going to go up. But
Sure.
the fact that you can say, I want a fridge there, you want, you know, this type of product as your countertop, you want these type of doors, you want this color of walls, you want carpet, no carpet. You're one of the few builders that I know of that will allow intervention from a customer at this point, period.
And we're very transparent. You know, I'm the sales side of the build. I'm not the numbers guy or the one actually swinging the hammer. But those the two parties that I work with they've built this whole thing about transparency, and so they have a cost breakdown, and we'll share that with somebody if they were to contract with us now. And okay, here's your budget for flooring. Here's your budget for appliance package. Here's your budget for X, Y, and Z. If somebody says, you know what, like you said, Bill, if somebody comes in and says, and this is an example, you know, I like Bosch appliances, but I want to go one step up and let's do Wolf and Thermador. Great, here's your budget, and then the extra we're going to tack on above, and that just to cover our costs.
Excellent. So I don't know where you can do that. Even in Salt Lake, you're walking into these homes and you're not picking anything but window coverings, and that's after you move in. They have taken a complete position. I'm not saying that's wrong. It's just that's the market right now because of costs, because of nobody wants to get involved with the consumer, and sometimes the consumer can't decide. It's just harder. But think about it. You're going to spend $900. You're going to spend $600,000 in St. George for an average house right now. And it's just you and me talking, right? And people listening. But 600 grand, if 400 grand is going to buy you whatever, right? It's going to be whatever you need to tolerate to be there a few months out of the year. 600 grand, well, you're getting into 2,000, 2,200 square foot house, maybe. But if you spend 900,000, just think about it. Take 300 extra thousand out of your retirement. You're going to get a house that has absolutely everything you need. You're not parking cars outside. You're not trying to jockey around your garage. You've got a brand new kitchen, all under warranty. You got bedrooms for everybody. You've got a beautiful view, and you're in a part of the country that's really hyper appreciating. So how does somebody get involved with you? Let's say there's a listener out there that's watching this and they said, you know what, I'm ready to lay down $1 million anyway. What do they do to get involved with you, and what are the steps so that they can kind of have a clear picture of how that works?
That's a great question. So they come to me as a sales agent, and I set up a consultation. If this is the house that they want, we simply sit down, we go over the floor plan, make sure they're comfortable with it, give them dimensions, those kind of things, so that they can get a good feel of best they can of the product without walking through it physically. Obviously, we don't have the walls up yet. And then we go over, hey, here is our budgets. And in that current budget, the thing that the consumer needs to know is we don't have hidden fees. The builder's being compensated out of that price. I, through the builder, am being compensated throughout that price. It's not, hey, here's our base price and we're going to tack this on. Again, as a review, there's two variables that can happen here, Bill. And we like to be transparent. The variable number one, if they go over budget on something that we've budgeted for from the get-go, like I said, we're gonna say, here's our flooring budget. If you wanted something that's hand carved, it's gonna be X amount above, and that's coming straight from our supplier on what price will be. The other variable is this: when we sit down, depending on the point in time, we're going to say, look, we've already made reservations on X, Y, and Z. So we know that our price is going to be very close to here, here, and here on these items. And these are, I'm talking about more structural things than finish work, like the lumber package and the truss package, where we say, here's what we have in here for a truss package, lumber package. As that's been such an up and down roller coaster, we just sit down and say, look, we're going to pad this much onto the price in the event that we see something go up. And we're going to be transparent through the process. If it's used, it's used. If it's not used, it's not used.
That's amazing. So what you're saying is, I can have the money there. I'm already pre-budgeting for an increase. And if the increase doesn't happen, that flow goes back into the kitty or back to the consumer at the end. Is that correct? Or not
That's correct.
used at all?
Yep.
That saves you from having somebody say, well, we're going to put money in there, and everybody forgets that they've extra budgeted and they come out with an X dollar, and you paid twice, right? Or you don't know. I really think it's not a bad time to build. I always do what other people don't do in a market. Yesterday was a great time to buy Bitcoin. It was almost half price, or, there's these up and downs, but sometimes that scares people when they see high prices, and sometimes you wait and it only goes higher. But if the price of lumber even came down, what you're going to pay more for property is going to be higher. So you're going to get hit sometimes twice. Why not settle in with somebody that will work with you and set up a cost distribution so that you are protected for those times where copper may go up, or cement might change. But really, it's a good time, because you wait a year, the property that you could have bought might be $100,000 more. It just keeps rolling in that direction with really no sight. So to lock and load and know you're going to be under $1 million for a house with a 4-car garage in a beautiful location, I don't know if you're going to have much competition in that direction. I think that's a really good thing. If you're a consumer out there, you're from California, or even here from Utah or another state, that house could be worth, and we can't speculate, but you're probably not going to be undervalued in that house. You might find yourself shocked to know that it's going to be worth more when you're done. Right. Based on past experience, would that be true?
Absolutely. I was speaking with my brother yesterday, who's a mortgage lender, and one of their clients put a home under contract to be built a year ago. The certificate of occupancy came this week. They closed and the appraisal took place. They put this home under contract with some inflation clauses with the builder at $254,000 last year, and excuse me, $452,000.
Take
$452,000, and it appraised yesterday for, I believe you said 625.
You actually cut out on the price. What was the price again?
It appraised for 625.
And he built it for how much?
It was around 450, right in the 450 ballpark that they put it under contract. And then the appraisal came back.
They're up $175,000 on a build
before moving in.
Wow. Now, disclaimer, because I know law, right? This is no guarantee.
Yeah.
Past doesn't in the future. We could head for a big recession. You could lose. You could build the house and it would be worth much less. than what you end up with. You could buy a house and be worth much less. But this guy spent $450 on the build, got a $650 appraisal. He could have sold the house if he wanted to for the $650, walked away with $175, taken a 1031 exchange, and have half his house paid for the next one going down. Does that make sense? Like, he could have taken that money out of that house and built another one if he wanted to. So if you're a speculator, I'm not encouraging that, but I don't know where on the planet you can go build a house, finish a house, and have that kind of equity. That's like a 30 or 40% gain. So doesn't happen all the time. It just, this is the market. Most people can't or don't have a vision on an unfinished product. So when you show a screen of a build, a lot of people have to walk away from that because they can't envision it. But if you're one of the few that can envision, that's where the payoff is. That's where the value add is. That's where you get a 4-car garage. That's where you get a neighborhood which has a quality of life. What you don't get if you have to buy something today is something that somebody else is going to sell at a high price. And so $300, I do see them at $250, but $315, $325, it's very easy to spend $800,000 or $900,000 on a 2,500 square foot home that was built 15, 18 years ago.
Right.
And no view, have no backyard. So I appreciate this opportunity you're giving people. So how do they start, and how do they contact you? Where can they get a hold of you?
I give out my personal cell phone. So it's 435-619-0189. And unless I'm in a meeting with my kids or at the dinner table, I'm answering the phone.
Leave a message. And the guy or woman that should be calling you is somebody that's a year out from moving.
Yes.
Like if you're in California right now and you're in San Diego and your house appraised for 1.4 or 2, or you're sitting there with $1 million and you know that you move, this is the time. You would want to be able to contact Jeff and say, okay, I'm going to move there in 2022, about this time in May. Can you have this house done by May of 2022? That way you can live in your house within 90 days of completion, sell your house, close on your house, take your equity, and you might have a construction loan in the meantime. Don't know how much money you might have in the bank. I'm just being facetious. You probably pay cash, or if you're from Salt Lake City, now's the time. If you're planning on moving in 2022, this would be the opportunity. So would I be correct to think May of 2022, this house would be finished, lawn would be in, or whatever pool, whatever you want to add on to that house could be done, and I could just back a U-Haul up or a moving truck and move into a brand new house?
Comfortably, yes. Where we're at in the permitting stage and got through the ACC, my projection would be closer to 8 months. But if there were some hiccups, a year is very comfortable.
8 months would be March, probably, or February. So that be a great time to move and transition. And how nice is it to move into something brand new where you could drop your pods off and load them into the garage and kind of pre-stage stuff, as opposed to just being crowded in a existing neighborhood where somebody didn't move out in time, or you got to go in and clean or do some renovations. And right now, believe it or not, I'm reading, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, but right now people don't want to move out when they sell the house. I'm reading clauses all the time that I got a renter in there. I just read one this morning on a house where they have a renter in there till 2022. So you collect $2,100 worth of rent, but you can't move in anyway till that, unless you kick the renter out, or the customer or the existing homeowner wants to stay till fall. So what's the difference? You're dealing on a nice house where people are homesteading, not homesteading, but they're renting the house back. They're not moving anywhere quickly. And in St. George, I think it's code of the hills that nobody wants to move in July anyway. They'll buy a house in July, but might be a little warm to move out,
Yeah.
in the summer. So they'll wait till September and rent the house back. So darn it, you're really 6 months out on if you found a buy and you found a great home, that consumer's not antsy to get out in 30 days. The trend seems to be that they'll rent the house back. Now you can tell me if that's just 1 in a million, or are you starting to see more
No,
and more?
it's very common, very common. We're seeing that on a lot of homes for sale right now. I had someone approach me this week that wants to sell a really nice home in St. George that said, I have all this equity. I know we can sell this, but I have to put a contract on it and not close until 2022 because I don't want to get hit with the short-term capital gains. And it'll probably happen.
Unbelievable. I'm freaking out because it's the same as a new, like, let me give you another example of how ridiculous this is. This is from me. I'm not a real estate agent, even though I'm studying to be one. But let me just tell you how ridiculous this market is right now. I own a Chevy truck. The Chevy truck right now that I bought for whatever I bought it for is now worth $8,000 more than what I bought it for 5 years ago. So now I have a used Chevy truck that's worth within $10,000 of a 5-year-old new one that's diesel and has all the options on it. So I'm only going to be out $10,000 to be able to have a brand new truck without 50,000 miles. It's ludicrous to me because normally you depreciate $4,000 or $5,000 a year on a vehicle. You'll pay $20,000 to go up from that many years, even on a good year. So I'm looking at your housing market and I'm saying, used house, maybe I get a little bit more landscaping and trees are mature, but there's not a lot of trees down there to begin with, unless you go into some of the older neighborhoods. But you've got this opportunity to pick what you really want, and if you don't like this 2-story, how many other lots could they start with scratch from that you have?
We have, I'm looking right now actually, so we have one other 2-story lot that's available that they could be a totally custom house plan. They pick every single thing from the get-go. It's just at a different stage. It's 2 lots down from this one we've been talking about. And then we have 3 river lots that are back in that Virgin River.
Man, I'm telling you, if I was a little richer, a little smarter, I'd have paid the extra $100,000, have that 1.5, 2 acre lot back in the river. You will not find property that backs the Virgin River that I know of.
I'm with you.
This state. You may have to go down to Mesquite. I don't even know the Virgin River runs through Mesquite. I think it dries out before it gets there. But there's just nothing like that. And you don't know this unless you've been in this market a year looking. You'll think, wow, I want to be in St. George. And you might. I'm not knocking being in St. George, but the traffic and the congestion there, and if that's what you want to live next to Costco, there's that opportunity to do so. You can do that. You can live in some great golf course neighborhoods. I'm not taking away from any of that, but this is a way where you could be that guy that was in first rather than the guy that's in last. And so this is the opportunities that we're talking about for that discerning person that wants to build and have something really custom. Now, having said all that, do you have at this time any existing homes that any of my viewers should be aware of that may be in the $400,000 to $800,000 price range that would be attractive to them?
Yes, we have one in Hurricane or Hurricane if you're not a local, right? And it is, and this is going to speak to your point that you said earlier, it's 2,000 square feet and it's listed at 550,000. We put it under contract really quick, and the buyer yesterday came out and said, hey, my financial position has changed. I can't buy it anymore. And that was just 3 days under contract. And so it went back live again today. And if you give me just a moment, I can
pull it up on the screen.
find,
This
yes,
could
just 1 second here.
What's your weather like down there, just so we know?
I was outside only this morning. So this morning it felt great. I don't know where we're at right now.
I'm at 64 degrees, believe it or not, in Salt Lake.
My computer's saying 83. I don't know how accurate it is.
It's always 80. It'd be probably right for that time of year.
So let me share this with you. So it's showing pending right here, right now. As soon as we get
This
that
is
site.
insider information.
Yes, it is. As
Insider.
soon as
That
we
house,
process.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
if you were looking at that house, you would think, oh, it's pending, it's already got a deal on it. But the deal failed, so now it's available.
Right. So let me kind of show. It's a beautiful home.
Whoa, it's got an upgraded roof on it.
It's got some great things here. So and I hope our photographer did justice out of the views, for the views out of the back. Open floor
Nice
plan here.
kitchen. I'm just going to go through a few things. That's an upgraded granite. That is not the cheap granite that everybody puts in that you see in restaurants. That's probably a level 3 or 4 granite. Is that correct?
I would say it's a 3. Yep.
And then you've got an upgraded sink. You have an upgraded stove. You have double ovens, and you got a decent fridge. Now, I don't know the deal in St. George. It's different. Some people wheel their fridges off when they sell the house, so it may or may not go. But that's a kitchen. You do not get a kitchen like that in St. George for 500 grand. You do not. Trust me. And it looks like you got wood floors. I don't know if those are tile, but you can explain that.
These are luxury plank vinyl, so they're really pretty, and super durable. These bedroom photos aren't really they're standard bedrooms.
Hey, let's give this guy credit. Every room is in blue, pink, red, gray, purple, and yellow. So you don't have to do a lot of repainting here.
Yeah, they've gone very neutral on the colors here, and it's a clean, beautiful house. The master is great. So his and hers closet.
Yep, I'll need that. It'll be a hers and hers. It was my house.
Yes.
Barbershop, get out of here.
So on the back of the garage, they've got a salon.
Now, wait a minute. This is cool. Like, my sister does hair, right? So she was in the market. She lives in St. George already, but that's a revenue maker. Like, you doing all the people in the neighborhood, your church, that's probably bringing her in a couple grand a month. That's cool. Now, does that go or stay? Having said all that, maybe it all goes, right?
So the nice thing is everything's here and it's plumbed for everything. Her equipment, none of it is fixed except for the sink, and the sink does go, but so the bones are all going to be here. The nice thing is they put a mini split air conditioning and heating unit here. So it's totally climatized, separate from the house. You can have it however you want. And if you're not using it, you turn this off so that you're not running utility.
And you know what? That would make a great office too. I'm playing around, but if you have an office, let's say you're a psychiatrist and you're bringing people in and you want to be totally private, that looks like a great place where you can have, where nobody's listening in. You've got total privacy.
Agreed.
Very cool.
Exterior door. And then they've got this fire pit here. I can't remember if it's going to do it for us, but this wrought iron above the block wall is fantastic because you get this view here, and more important, I hope we got the angle. Dang it. Okay, so where that fire pit is here, this is all Pine Valley Mountain right here. So you're getting Red Rock below it and then Pine Valley Mountain.
So let me tell you how few homes that I have witnessed in St. George that fence is in a rock wall and another house above it. It's rare to get a view anywhere there now. I mean, it's just really hard. And it's hard in the $500,000 range to find a 3-car garage. I mean, they're there, but this seems to be a modern house built in the last 10 years. You've got probably a $20,000 a fence around it. If you had to build that fence today, that's a really good looking fence. So how many square feet is it?
2,006 square feet, and it was built 2019. And I don't know why our drones aren't uploaded, but on this left side here, there's a gate, a wrought iron gate, and this is a huge space right here. There's almost enough space that you could park 2 camp trailers side by side.
Wow. And this is in Hurricane.
Yes.
Can you go to the map of where it's located in Hurricane?
Yep. So
There's the Virgin River.
yes, and if
Might have a
we
little
are,
hike to get to it.
so the Rio de Sion subdivision that we've been talking about is right here.
Right?
Here's this home. Access to I-15, you can go right over here. Or if you wanted to go northbound, be a little bit quicker going through the town of Laverton and Tokerville here.
So when you
Also,
look at it, yeah, when you look at it here, it kind of looks desolate, like they're planting Mars, like, you know, like with the red rock. But when you're looking at that rock from a ground level, it's gorgeous. It's really, really pretty area.
it is, you also get a lot of cool looking volcanic rock in this area as well.
That's nice. Looks like it's in a great area. So there you go. $500,000, 550 house, 2,000 square feet. You're under the $300 square foot that I'm looking at other homes. This should be, in my math, should be a $600,000 house, just from a $300 square foot times 2,000 square feet. So you're really buying this house at a bargain if you can get 550. And I don't know if you can, but that would be, in my mind, a pretty good buy. And it's all very nice, very nice. That's a great looking house, and it looks like he spent money on the roof. Like that looked
Yeah,
like
they didn't go cheap.
Perfect. And that's nearly new house. That's only a year or 2 old. So Jeff, I'm telling my people again, get a hold of Jeff directly. Give him your number one more time.
435-619-0189.
Or you can contact me at bill@saytree.com. I'll forward information. We don't want to get a lot of people involved because number one question is, who are you paying? What does it cost me? And with Jeff, I really believe you'll get somebody that'll hold your hand through the build. You'll get a custom build job. There's 4 or 5 more lots left that you can pick from and actually build the house of your dreams. If you're sitting out there thinking, well, I really want to build a $2 million house, man, he's got the property for that as well. Or if you want to try to stage it down, I don't know how low you can go, but you might be able to get a $700,000 or $800,000 house squeaked out there if you went with less square footage. Am I correct? Like, I think the minimum's 24 or 22.
Yeah, right under 20. Yeah, it's right about 2,400.
But you could squeak something out that could save you a couple $100,000 by the time you finish and get everything done. And the landscaping doesn't have to be all grass. You can use, I don't know what they call it, but the rock and gravel seems to be very popular out there. Very inexpensive to do. And you're not
Xeriscape on the front.
Xeriscape is very popular. So anything else, Jeff, that we missed?
No, I think this has been great.
Guys, if you're out there considering a house, I'm just saying, Don't think you have to go through a builder that's gonna make you take what they've got. Let's do a custom job. Let Jeff walk through it with you and send you pictures every week or whatever the case may be. If you're not from St. George, you can remotely build this house. Is that correct? You don't
Yes,
have to live here. They could be
100%.
in California and get a video just like we're doing now on what the progress is on that house, either bi-monthly or bi-weekly, whatever you want to set up. Okay, well,
Awesome.
Jeff, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll try to get this thing loaded and out to the consumers today that are out there looking and considering homes.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you for your time.
We'll see you.
You bet.